Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing. So we are going to be doing something a little different. Instead of doing your typical weekly readings, we're actually going to do a monthly reading for September for each sign. Hopefully that will help kind of dive into some specifics that are happening with you and your situation at this time to get you some more detailed information particular to you. Do keep in mind this is a general reading. It is for a lot of people. So you might find there's only one or two messages for you. When I do these readings, I do pray, prepare, shuffle. I do ask that each of you receive at least one message, but it is good to keep in mind it is for a large audience. And if you find that not much is resonating with your sun sign, go ahead and listen to your moon or your rising. You might be able to get some information from those as well. And if you're still finding there's only a few messages, that's good. That means things aren't too bad. So I would be thankful for that. Now, for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. Glad to have you here. If you don't know much about me, I survived a bombing in Afghanistan. And at that time, my spiritual gifts were opened up, like blasted open up. I am clairaudient. I hear Jesus and the angels talk to me. I'm a medium. I'm an empath. I am certified by Doreen Virtue. I have a couple certificates by her. I am a quantum touch energy medicine practitioner. For those of you that aren't familiar, that is it's a healing modality. So like in a 3-hour healing session, and I give all the credit to God, a 3-hour healing session, I've had hundreds of people healed of cancer, multiple sclerosis, even like hip replacements, and down to things that are less severity, like healing broken bones, healing torn tendons, you know, whatever it is, it can be taken care of with quantum touch. So welcome. You can read more about me. I'm not going to go into any more details, but there is an About Me section on my webpage. Feel free to check that out. For those of you that have been here for a while, thank you. Glad to have you continuing to return. Thank you for your subscriptions, your comments. Thanks for sharing these videos. I do love hearing how these are helping you. So even though I can't respond to all of you, continue sending the comments my way. I do love reading them. Now, for those of you that are going to be asking about sessions or readings, I'm still not accepting new clients because I am booked out quite a bit in advance with current clients, but please stay tuned. As soon as my retirement is finalized, I will then open up for new clients. It should be happening in the very, very near future. I will announce it in these readings. So as soon as it's announced, then you will be able to go online and book appointments. So we are going to do a little educational bit, and actually this is going to be the same intro for every single sign. So if you do go and listen to your moon or rising, you can skip past this part. I know a lot of you are going to skip past this anyhow, but I would encourage you to stay because it is going to help you kind of understand what's going on right now with the energy. So as we all know, the energy is extremely intense right now. It has been for most of the year, but especially since we had the eclipse on August 21st. And it's, as you notice, everyone's like, oh, why hasn't it settled down? Because it's starting to ramp up even more. And it's going to continue like this all the way through the end of September. Many of you know that on September 23rd, there is going to be that Revelations 12 sign. If you are not familiar, there are a bunch of videos on YouTube. Just go to watch whichever one you are guided to watch, and you'll be able to get some information on that. The 144,000 should all be sealed by September 23rd. And what you're going to find is things are going to start to ramp up even more than they are. So if you've not done any research yet, there is this Schumann resonance, and it's the Earth's heartbeat. Essentially what it is, you know, the Earth has a frequency, and it's an interplay with our electromagnetic field. Essentially, it's the pulses of energy between the Earth's surface and our ionosphere. And for years and years and years, the Earth's resonance heartbeat was at 7.83 hertz. And what they noticed in 2014 is that it began increasing. And 7.83, if you think of it, it's kind of like an alpha theta, like a dream state. You know, you're very calm, you're very relaxed. Once it gets over 16.5, that's kind of like, you know, actually over 15, it's kind of like an awakened calm. So like an awakening, spiritual awakening. And that is why a number of people have been going through all this awakening stuff. It's been particularly intense for millions of people since 2014. And it's continued to increase. They found that in 2017, it had jumped to over 36 plus hertz. And once you get over 36, it's kind of like there's this nervousness and anxiety in people's brain versus that calm, healthy state. But what that does is that starts to change our DNA. That starts to bring in more of God's light. It pushes out the dark. And we see that every day. We see these things happening, and we're kind of shocked that these things are happening in our world right now. But in order to fill things with more light, with more love, you have to get rid of the dark. And you got to push the dark out so it comes to the surface so we get to see more of it. Now, on a personal level, what's happening for us is that's forcing all of us to release our own individual darkness, our karma. We have to release those things. We have to learn those lessons. We have to heal those things. That's why we've been under such intense pressure and being pushed, kind of like in a pressure cooker that's about to bubble over, because there's just so many things being pulled from our lives, released from our lives, let go. But that is because we're being filled with more light, more of God's light, love, coming into a state of unconditional love. To come into that state, we can't hold on to the darkness anymore. We can't hold on to people that aren't meant for us. We can't hold on to situations that aren't meant for us. All those things that do not serve us, all those things that are not of love, of unconditional love, and even down to not loving ourselves, that all has to go. Has to be released, has to be healed. Lessons have to be learned, things have to be let go of. And that's prepare us for things that are to come. And it's all this big awakening that we're going through, this ascension process. And there's a lot of ascension symptoms and things that you go through. There's actually a guy that does YouTube videos. I don't often have time to watch his videos, but when I do, he's got really good videos. And I think he posts one per day. But if you want to check him out, I'll put a link to his YouTube channel below. His name is Victor Odo, and he talks about the ascension process. And he gives tips and pointers and things that you can do to ground yourself, to release things, because there's a lot that you can do. I mean, if you're struggling, because a lot of people have been struggling since the 21st. They've had a lot of ailments, conditions, headaches, rashes, all types of things popping up. Tonight, fill your tub, fill it up with some water, put some Epsom salt in there, and soak in the tub for 20 minutes. That will release those physical toxins, that will release those emotional toxins, that will help you get to feeling better. Anytime you feel these things bubble up, that's because you're releasing things. And in order to speed that up, soak in the tub, go see a healer, walk outdoors in nature. You know, for some it's also changing diet, but there's things that you can do to help this, help your system quickly release it. And he does cover those things in his videos. Now, you will find, because a lot of you, again, since the eclipse, you've had just a lot of intense energy, weird things happening with your body, headaches that won't go away. A lot of you are kind of feeling like anxious, like, oh my gosh, something's about to happen. I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm a little anxious. I don't know why. That's because things are going to be continuing to accelerate. Clear up until September 23rd. Now, with the whole ascension process, it's still going to be intense after that, but you will get a bit of a breather. So once we get into October, you get to take a deep breath, kind of calm down a little bit. But it is in preparation for things that are to come. So I'm going to share some information, and don't be worried about this information. It's all good. It's all bringing us to a better place. It's not something to freak out about. But when you read the Bible and you look at that, what it talks about in the Bible, like the rapture, that is true. These things we are going to see in our lifetimes, those of us that are here right now. And again, it's not something to fear. But what we're doing is we're preparing essentially for, if you look at it, it's kind of like the earth is going to be splitting into two. So there will be like this new earth. There's actually some videos out there. Dolores Cannon, she did hypnosis sessions, and people were always talking about this new earth, this split. And many of the things that she shares in her videos are true. Now, not everything, but many things are. So what I would recommend is check out some of her videos. You know, pray, ask that your angels and God and Jesus, ask that they come and they help you discern what is true and what is not. And ask that they help fill in some blanks for you. Because you'll find if you ask that, you will know immediately something that's resonating with you that, yeah, that is true, that is spot on. You'll know what is not, and they will fill in the blanks for you. But you do have to pray and ask that they do that beforehand. But what's described in the Bible. And actually, if you look at, you know, religious texts and look at them, there's actually bits and pieces from different parts, because, you know, Jesus was a Jew. He actually was an Essene. The Essenes are the foundation of Christianity. It kind of all grew and evolved from there. But what it talks about with that, you know, going to be going through the rapture process, things are going to appear that are like that. Now, the severity of things that do occur as we're going through these changes do hinge off of where we are as a collective. You know, we can make things not as bad. We can make things worse. It depends on whether we're coming from a place of love or whether we're coming from a place of fear, where we're all coming from too, and what we're contributing to that. But we are going to get to a state in this split where millions of people are going to disappear. What is going to appear for the people that are on old Earth is that, you know, they'll wake up, because it will happen in an instant, in the twinkling of an eye, and just millions of people will be gone. And those that are going to be gone, those are going to be the people that believe. They believe in God. They believe in Jesus. Not to delve too deeply into texts and things to look at, scriptures and stuff, but I encourage all of you, as we go through this, to do your own research, look at things and see what really truly resonates with your heart and soul. Because what you'll find is you'll learn a lot, and you'll find that these things are going to resonate with you. Because when you watch, like, you know, Dolores Cannon, she did these hypnosis sessions, and they're coined QHHT sessions. When you watch those, you'll find a lot of people, when they talk about the new earth, when they are asked, like, what's required to get to the new earth, they always, you know, they'll say that, you know, they have to believe. They have to believe in God. They have to believe. That's true. Now, when you look at Jesus, when Jesus was here, again, he was born Jewish, he was an Essene, but he loved everyone. It didn't matter the color of your skin. It didn't matter what your religious upbringing was. He traveled around. He loved everyone. He was here as a savior, a Messiah for everyone here on earth. Everyone, all of us, every single one of us. And it's interesting, because when I do healing sessions, and you know, I'm a seer as well. Oftentimes when I'm doing them, I'll see what my clients are physically wearing on the other side of the world while I'm working on them. But when I'm doing these healing sessions, and, you know, it might be my client or someone doing soul contract cancellations with or whatever, the moment that Jesus comes into the scene, because when I'm doing these sessions, Archangel Michael's always there, Archangel Raphael's usually there, but sometimes Jesus will come in during the session, and the moment that he enters, the client, their family members, whomever else is there, all of them will immediately drop to the ground and bow down to him, because he emulates that power. Jesus is power. He is the light. He is the light that will snuff out the darkness. And he truly is. Like, if you look at near-death experiences, when people have a God come in, that they meet, that they get to experience, it's always Jesus. And I encourage you to try it for yourself, actually. Because, again, we're all supposed to learn. We're not supposed to just blindly believe things that we're told. You know, we're even taught that, you know, in the biblical texts. We're supposed to learn. We're supposed to discern. We are supposed to dig. We're also supposed to ask, and we will receive the guidance and information. Not to trust what others are giving us, not to be deceived. So many of you, because you are going through this ascension process, many of you are actually under psychic attack right now. There is a spiritual war going on between light and dark. So many of you are being attacked by darker entities. You know that because you're having bad dreams. Or, you know, your animals or your kids are just fighting all the time. It's like there's a lot of this anger and hatred in your home. Or maybe you're tripping when you're at the house, and it's kind of like you feel like someone pushed you or shoved you. Or you accidentally cut yourself and you're like, I wasn't even doing it. It's almost like something else did it to you. Or maybe in your dreams you're getting red eyes, or you're having a really lot of dark dreams. And they're kind of scary and worrisome. When you're experiencing those things, that's because something dark is in your home. It's very easy to remove those things. Now, you can, in your own power, command that person to leave, that entity to leave. You can call upon any higher power that you want to. You can say in their name for it to leave. What you will find is that entity will not leave. However, when you command it to leave in the name of Jesus, and you call on God and Jesus to help you, and you command it in the name of Jesus to leave, you'll find that you and your family get instant relief, that it's gone. And that's something I encourage clients to do right away, because, you know, I'll talk with clients, they'll be like, oh my gosh, all these bad things are happening, and I don't know how to stop it. And when I recommend that they try that, suddenly the dark stuff's gone. Suddenly their kids are getting along. Suddenly their animals are getting along. Suddenly they're not tripping and hurting themselves anymore, because there is power in the name of Jesus, and it's gone. But you, again, don't have to believe me. Try it yourself. See how it works. Now, I know I've shared in some other videos that last September I was falling asleep, and there was this, it was as though someone was standing outside of my bedroom playing a trumpet. Now, it's interesting because in, you know, Jewish, there's different, you know, feasts that they have. They have feasts of trumpets. Then these are very important points when you look at things that have happened worldwide that are big, that have been, you know, foretold in our theological religious texts, not just Christianity. They happen on a Jewish feast, because that's how God times things. That's how Jesus times things. And so we were around one of the feasts, and I hear like someone, it's as though literally standing outside my bedroom window playing a trumpet. And then within a couple days, I was unloading my car, I was outside, and all of a sudden I heard this like a horse, and it literally blew on my neck and jumped, it made me jump, and I was startled. And it was Jesus on this white horse, and he told me to not be afraid, and he told me that it's time to prepare, it's time to start preparing. Now, if you're familiar, Jesus on a white horse, when he returns on a white horse. So, and you can research that and check that out, but there are things that are about to occur, that are about to happen. So, like some may have noticed, like we've had a lot of people passing away the past 2-3 years, and like people that are young, totally unexpected, and it's been a lot of people. Like, you know, in our lifetimes, we've never seen anything like this until recently. That's going to continue into early 2018. That's because our loved ones, they know what's about to come. They want to witness it from the other side. They don't want to get to experience it with us. They will be with us. They will be helping us. They're just going to be doing it from the other side. They're going to let us have the experience. And that's why there have been so many of them passing on, because they have made that choice to not be on this side for everything. Now, again, it's not something to be afraid of. But what will happen is these people who believe, they will disappear. They'll be on this new earth. Now, that new earth, I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of details about that, but maybe at some point we'll do some down the road when they tell me it's time. We'll do some educational video about that. But essentially, people will be there for about 1,000 years. Eventually, it's like the returning to Garden of Eden. And over that time, over that 1,000 years, people's bodies will evolve into light bodies. So then it will eventually evolve to the point that, you know, people are there, but they're not in physical bodies. So we'll talk about that more later. Simultaneously, around that same time, what will happen is these people will disappear, and that's going to be millions. Because a lot of people think that they're going to be left behind because, you know, the Bible states only 144,000 are going to be ascending. No, millions of people who are believers, are going to just, boop, disappear. Almost at that exact time, immediately following the disappearance within minutes, the 144,000 will ascend. And those that are here on old earth will physically see them ascending. And what they're going to see is they're going to see Jesus on a white horse. They're going to see his army of angels behind him, and they're all on white horses. And those 144,000 that are going to ascend, they are angels incarnated. They're physically in human bodies right now, but they will be ascending. They are part of God's army. And that's going to be kind of like the final throwdown with the dark. But once that's all done, and that's going to be very swift and quick. I mean, if you look at human times, it's going to be something that's going to happen in under an hour. It's going to be very, very fast. And then those 144,000 will meet their families on the new earth. And it will seem like they weren't even gone. It'll seem like, you know, seconds. But it's not anything to fear. You really don't have anything to fear and worry about. I mean, if you look at it, if you're listening to this video, you're preparing to go to New Earth. You're experiencing all these ascension systems. ascension symptoms, you're preparing. Your system's changing, your body's changing. You are preparing to make that change, make that leap. That's a beautiful thing. And when you look at it, I mean, it's been a struggle for us because we've had to lose friends, we've had to lose lovers, we've had all these things taken out of our life. But that's because those things aren't good for us. And we're going to a place that's filled with love and bliss and joy and unconditional love. Those things were not of unconditional love, so they're not meant to go with us. That's why we have to let them go. You can even find that you're having very positive experiences. Like maybe you have, I was talking with a friend and, you know, we were having a conversation about how, you know, you can be driving the same path as someone else to work at the same time. And maybe you don't experience any traffic and you don't experience any car accidents. It's like easy breezy. You're hitting every green light. You're like, this day is amazing, best ever. But then you talk to your friend who drove the same time, the same route, and they experienced nothing but stop traffic, red lights, car accidents. It was a horrible drive to work for them. That's because you're starting to see the split. The split's starting to already occur. So some of us are having really good positive experiences. Some of us are not having such good experiences. The split's starting to occur. And that's why now is the time to prepare. It's time to prepare spiritually, it's time to prepare mentally, it's time to prepare physically. And what that really means to us is it's time to stop the distractions. You know, the angels have been talking nonstop in all of our videos the past couple months is stop the distractions, stop the multiple relationships, the rebounds, the drugs, the addictions, the behaviors that aren't, you know, in your highest good. If you're supposed to be, you know, because those of us that have things that we still need to let go of that we're like clinging tightly to, we know what it is that we're being guided to do and let go of. We know that. It is time to do those things that we're being guided to do. So if you're being guided to let go of an ex or a partner or a job or even a diet change, whatever it is that you're being guided to do that. Because so many of us, because the things that we're still holding on to, we're holding on to it out of fear. We are terrified to let that person go, that thing go, because that's been, you know, that's been constant for us. That's been, even though it's not been happy, it's been stability for us. It's been comfort for us. We don't want to venture into the unknown, but that is the one thing that is not meant for us. It's not good for us. We know that. But instead of dealing with that, many of us have turned to other relationships, or we've turned to alcohol, or we've turned to drugs, or we've turned to pornography, or we've turned to anything and everything that will keep us off of doing what we're meant to do, keep us from having those conversations, keep us from ending those ties, keep us from signing the paperwork. But the time has come to do those things because they're trying to bring us back to a state of unconditional love. They're trying to bring us to a state of loving ourselves, loving others. They're bringing us into a state of wholeness. We can't be whole and happy with this baggage we keep lugging around. We have got to let the baggage go because we're drowning. We've been struggling to tread water for a while, and it's drowning us. So we've got to let that dead weight go. And what you will find this weekend, if you happen to listen to this, the first weekend of September, for those of us in the United States, you'll be celebrating Labor Day. But it'll be this weekend all the way through the full moon that we're going to be having this first week of September. It's going to be intense. You're going to feel some of that intensity that you felt around the eclipse. And that's because they're hitting us to release those things that don't serve us. So, like maybe you're noticing a repeated theme. Like something keeps happening over and over and over, but you're clinging to something you know you need to let go of. It's time to let go because you can't take that with you. You can't take that person with you. So maybe you started, you know, dating someone else. Maybe there's an ex you're supposed to be letting go of. And, you know, you've not let that ex go because maybe you think it's going to change, or maybe there's money worries, or you're afraid of going into the unknown. Or it could be that like your family relies, and I'm not talking your kids because you still get to take care of your children. You need to keep taking care of your children. But I'm talking about like maybe their family counts on you, their siblings or something, or maybe there's like some community connection with them and you don't want to let them down. But for some reason, if you boil it down though, it's fear. You continue to hold on to them. But maybe you're not talking with them at this point. You've not ended the final ties. So while you're sitting in this place of limbo, knowing that you're to release that ex, and you haven't, not wanting to deal with it, you start jumping into other relationships, and maybe you jump into a rebound relationship, but you're discovering that that rebound is a lot like your ex. You know, maybe they are very manipulative, or maybe they really try and nag you into doing things or push you to do things, or maybe they're trying to push you to quickly commit, or they could be like a me person, self-centered, it's all about them. Or they make you feel bad in order to get you to do something that they want you to do. And you feel kind of like, dang, this is like my ex. I feel like I've jumped back into my ex. That's because it's a repeated pattern. You are seeing the same attributes and characteristics of your ex because you have not released your ex. You have not released that karma. You have not learned that lesson. So it's ramping up. It's ramping up because it's time to let that person go. So this weekend through the full moon, this next week, many people are going to have some huge breakthroughs, some big epiphanies, some ahas. That is meant to help you let go of that fear that is keeping you from taking that leap of faith, that final step of clearing that karma, releasing that person, releasing that situation, because the time has come. And we've been pushed to do this for a couple years, because what you'll find is essentially the way the planets are going to be aligned at this time is the same way they were aligned during the eclipse in 2015. So some of you were being pushed to release the exact same thing or person 2 years ago in August 2015. But what happened is you did not want to let go. You're like, oh, hell no. I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hold on with both hands. I'm going to cling with both legs. I'm going to drag on their leg because I'm not letting them go. This is my plan. I'm sticking to it. I refuse to release it or release them. But you clung on. So for some of you, say it was a love interest. You know, in the fall, heading into the winter of 2015, you decided to, maybe you proposed to them. Maybe you remarried them. Maybe you married them. Maybe you stopped divorce proceedings. Or it could be maybe you stayed at that job. But instead of letting go, you went the opposite direction. You clung out of fear. For many of us, the exact same thing we were to release in 2015 is boiling back up. And many of you have seen that same exact situation bubble up recently, and you're really going to see it bubble up this week because it's out of fear that you're clinging on to it or clinging on to them. The time has come. It is time to let them go. It is time to let the situation go. We are really being pushed to take that leap of faith, take that plunge, release the fear, release them. We're also going to be pushed to deal with the things that we keep ignoring. So maybe we don't want to deal with it because it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation or a difficult conversation, or it's going to be, you know, outside of our norm, outside of our comfort zone. So we're like, oh gosh, I just don't want to deal with that. I just can't deal with that right now. I'd rather just keep burying my head in the sand or burying my head in someone else instead of having to deal with it. It's coming to a culmination point where it has to be dealt with. That's why we have been under so much intense pressure now for a couple years, because we have to release it. We have to let it go. We can't go to the new earth. We can't go through this ascension stuff that's about to happen until we release these people, these situations, this karma. If you look at it, an easy way to look at it is to sit down and think, okay, what was I supposed to learn from this person? Because if you look at it, or situation, typically there's something that you were to learn to love yourself unconditionally. Because if we love ourselves unconditionally, we won't allow people to treat us that way. We won't allow them to make us feel as though we are less than. We will establish healthy boundaries. We will not tolerate a job where we are not respected and valued. But we have to love ourselves. But instead of getting so wound up in emotions, if we can separate and look at it, and also pray, God, Jesus, angels, help me. What was I supposed to learn from this? Because as soon as you realize what you were supposed to learn, suddenly you don't have the emotions, you don't have the desire to cling to them anymore. You're like, okay, deuces. Deuces, learned it, don't want to go through this anymore. I'm tired of this crap. And for those of you that have found a rebound that they're the exact same as an ex, you'll be done with them too. Because you're like, no, I deserve better than that. I am worthy of better than that. I am so worthy of so much better. And I've now figured out what I was supposed to learn, and I'm done with it. But the time to do that is now. Because you can't take them with you. And you don't want to be stuck here because you can't release the fear. You can't release those worries. You can't come back to a state of loving yourself unconditionally. That's why we're all being pushed. It's gotten so intense for all of us. But for those of us that have released things, congratulations, because those of you that have released those big karmic things, yeah, the eclipse was still, it was intense for everybody. It was still intense. It might have bothered you a little bit, but you weren't depressed. You weren't having panic attacks. You were just kind of breezing through it. Congratulations. You have released your big lessons, your karma. You are prepared. You are ready. For those of you that are not, use this time to let it go, to sit down, and also to face your emotions, because for some of you, they're saying you don't want to deal with it because you do not want to face your emotions. You don't want to share them. You don't want to acknowledge that you have them. You don't want to open up. You don't want to be honest. You don't want to be honest with yourself. You don't want to be honest with others. This is the time to do that. Let those walls down. Take your mask off. It will be worth it. And for those of you that are fearing the conversations, they're not going to be as difficult as you think they will be. Because if it's meant to be, if it's a conversation to let someone or something go, it's going to go really easy, and you're going to release that instantaneously because you have so much support on the other side. And also on the flip side, if it's a conversation for someone that you're meant to bring into your life or something that you're meant to do, that's going to go really easy too. Because sometimes we beat ourselves up because we think, oh, I really messed that up real bad. That's not going to happen. Don't have those fears. Just, you have an entire team helping you. Ask that they help you. Because again, the thing to keep in mind, our angels cannot help us unless we ask for their help. Because we have free will. The only time they will ever step in without us asking is if it's life or death. If it's not our time to go, they're going to step in and keep us here. But other than that, they will face palm all day long and wonder, why won't you ask? We can help you. We can make it easier. Just ask for their help. They will make it easy. It'll be a breeze. Because if you had nothing but heartache and trials and tribulations and blocks and headaches this whole time, you know what you're being guided to do. You got this whole team behind you that's going to help you execute it and make those changes. Let them help you. Ask them, they help you do that this week. It'll be worth it. And then you'll find that you're not going to be stuck in this little hell any longer, because for those of you that have clung on, it's been a pretty miserable 2 years. Aren't you ready for things to get better? For things to get better, it's time to stop the distractions, do what you're being guided to do. Because when you've released that person, situation, that karma, you have learned that lesson, you will be back to a state of loving yourself. You will not feel bad about making choices that are good for you. You will not allow someone to control and dominate you. You will set healthy boundaries, and you'll just come back into a state of bliss, of happiness, where life's easy, where you're that person who's driving down the road and you've got every green light and you're listening to your favorite song and you're getting a little dance party going on in your car. You're like, life is so good. Thank you for this. Life is good. To come back to a state of loving life and loving every minute of it and knowing that life is good, you got to do your work. But it's not going to be as hard as you think. So they're there. Let them help you. Do that. Use this time, use this energy, use your team, and just do it already. Get her done. And then get back to your happy, because they're ready to bring you some happy. Okay, so I know that was long, and I'm going to do each of your signs and astrological readings. So just know that however long this is right now, you're just going to get to skip past this on each of them. I will put it at the beginning of each one. And let's go ahead and get started with your monthly astrological readings. Hello, Capricorn. Okay, let's go ahead and find out what is happening for you for the month of September. I have prayed over all the cards, shuffled them. I have asked that each of you receives at least one message. Hopefully you will get more than that. For those of you that are interested, we are going to be pulling cards from Doreen Virtue's Fairy Tarot deck, as well as her Archangel Michael and Mother Mary Oracle cards. And we're also going to be pulling from Colette Baron Reed's A Wisdom of the Oracle. I have also prayed, shuffled, and prepared my Lenormands, my Sibylas, and my Fin de Sickles, in case we need any clarifiers along the way. Considering you have some cards that other people had, we will probably pull some of those because they're giving, actually you have 3. Okay, you have 3 cards that other signs have had. But it's interesting because angels have been given different meanings for all of them, and now 4. Okay, well, let me make sure you can see these. Perfect. Okay, so what is going on for Capricorn? So what you have is the situation, the foundation as to what has led to the situation, what is blocking you, what is unknown to you, and what the angels are recommending that you do in the month of September in order to move forward. Now, that's funny. So I just looked down at my notes, and apparently I'm tired and need to go to sleep, because my next sign was actually, this was supposed to be Taurus, but I was thinking Capricorn when I was praying and shuffling, and I was looking at your information, so clearly you are all going to be my last one for the evening. So this is for you, Capricorn. But I am totally out of order because this girl is a sleepy girl. So I'm going to wrap up with you, and then I'm going to go to sleep, and I will finish the rest of them tomorrow. Let's just hope that I get your editing right tomorrow, because I've now gotten you out of order a bit. I'll make a note. It'll all be good. Well, looking at it, you do have one major arcana. You have the World and the Center. Major arcanas, those are things that are fated, that are destined, that are being divinely guided. We do not really have much control over those things, and this is all about completion. But then when you have 3 minor arcanas, those are pips. You have 2 winters, that's thoughts that's being stuck in our head. And you do have a summer, cups. Your situation. You have the World. And at the bottom, it says a brilliant success, the freedom to go in any direction, a journey that is now complete. This is all about endings, completion. It's really about taking a bow because you have finished something. You have made progress. You have wrapped it up. You have slapped a bow on it and called it done. It's about, you know, moving forward. You know, completing something, taking your bow, and moving forward into something new, a new beginning, a beginning that will bring you joy. Because you see this fairy dreamer, she's finished up what she was working on. She's come to an ending of her journey, and now she can begin a whole new adventure, something completely new. Because it is about completion. It is about coming full circle. It is, in the major arcanas, it is the last card in that deck. It truly is the ending, the completion, the culmination, the ending. And it's fated. So for many of you, this is love related. This is a relationship that has come to completion. It's ran its cycle. It's over. It's at the completion stage. And for some of you, it's taken a really long time to get to this point. It's been an uphill battle for many of you. What we have that's led to this, many of you are very cold at this point. You have Queen of Winter, and it says strong, patient, self-sufficient, funny. And at the bottom it says let go of people or things that no longer serve you. Now is the time to focus on your career, unmarried or divorced individuals. So for those of you in this situation, you've had a lot of difficulties and challenges with a lover, with an ex, with a spouse that's going to be an ex. Some of you are actually going through a divorce right now. But the Queen of Winter, she's often single because she just doesn't put up with any shenanigans. You know, this staff that she's holding, this icicle, which hopefully you're not seeing, that my camera... Hopefully that didn't pause. Okay. Well, hopefully it didn't pause it. It was telling me we're running low on battery. Apologies about that, Capricorn. Let's get you guys wrapped up so we can get this done. Queen of Winter, though. She's often single because she doesn't put up with shenanigans. You see that she's like holding this staff, but it's red. So some of you are very angry with your partner. You've cut them off. They have cut you off. You're now focused on your career. You don't care about love. You have no interest in love at this point. You've cut yourself off emotionally. You've cut them off emotionally. Some of you, you're also wanting some information. You feel as though you have been left out in the cold. There is something that they have not shared with you. For some of you, don't even care to hear it. See how she's kind of like glaring? and anger. They're pointing like the staff is red, and she's angry. So some of you are very angry with him. And you're ready for it to be done. Now what we have as far as what's blocking you, this is 10 of Winter. This is another Swords. Swords are all about being stuck in your thoughts. And at the bottom it says, the resolution of difficulties, a weight lifted off your shoulders, the end of an addiction or codependency. So for some of you, this relationship was founded on money. You relying on each other to have your needs met, taken care of, particularly money, finances. But this card is all about, it's time to walk away. Not just walk, it's time to run. Run away, run in the opposite direction, because this situation, this person is not good for you. They're not serving you. They are holding you back. And all the endings can be sad and they can be difficult. They're sometimes hard for us to do because we get stuck in a place of complacency and comfort. That change is necessary. It is time for you to move on. It's time for you to run forward, run away from this person, run away from the situation. And those of you in this situation, you know that because it has been a long time coming, they're saying. Like this is, because for most of you this is love. This is a relationship that you have tried and tried and tried and tried for years. And it's just not, it's not meant to be. It's not going to come together. And you know that. They're trying to break you free of that. Allow them to break you free of that. Now, as far as what you are not aware of, you have 8 of Summer. And at the bottom it says, the desire for a more meaningful life, realizing that it's time to move on, choosing to make major life changes. And you see, she's packed up everything she owns and she's just walking away. She's done. She's made the decision to leave the situation, to leave this person, to move forward. This is when things change. This is when things become better. This is when she really can walk into the light at the end of the tunnel. But this is being divinely guided. You are being guided to end this. It's not fulfilling for you. It's not fulfilling for them. It doesn't have the right foundation. They're saying it's for some of you, it's almost like it's built on a shallow foundation. You know, they were mentioning like, you hang in there because of what you're receiving, what you're each receiving from the relationship. But you're not hanging in there because of unconditional love. It's like, okay, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I'll give you what you want, you give me what I want. But that's not a foundation to build a relationship upon. You want more meaning. They want more meaning. The time has come for a new path. Now, what they are recommending that you do, you have blessings. And at the bottom it says, today I count my blessings, small and large. I notice the new gifts that come to me from God. And this is all about, you know, gratitude, being thankful for things. Because for some of you, they're saying that you're like stuck in this state of feeling sad for yourself, feeling bad, feeling sorry for yourself. Because, you know, things aren't being answered. You're not getting the things that you've wanted, that you've desired, that you've hoped for. That's because your prayers have been heard. They're just going to be answering them in a different way than you thought. And they're encouraging you to shift your focus from what's wrong and what's missing, what you don't have, to what is right. Because they're saying this ending, this culmination, it's a relationship. So this divorce, this breakup, this ending with this person is actually, it's a blessing in disguise. And when you give it a little bit of time, you will see that. It's actually a good thing. It's actually a blessing. It's good for you. What they also want you to do in September is to start doing some doing some visualization boards as to what it is that you want. What do you want in love? What is it that you desire? Because they're saying a number of you, you've already been thinking for a very long time what you really do want in a partner, what you want in a spouse, because they're saying it, even though you have clung to this relationship, it wasn't fulfilling you. It wasn't giving you what you wanted and what you desired. So even though you would, because they're saying like you would stay with them, many of you, because of a financial means of having property, investments, things together that you've built over a long duration. But it's not because you love them. They're saying for some of you, you would actually daydream about other people because this wasn't the relationship that you wanted. Now, for some, they're saying like many years ago when it started, it was, but it hasn't been like that for 10, 15 plus years. It was something built on convenience. But you've been daydreaming for years about what you really want. This is the time to like put some of that on paper. Start writing down a list of what it is that you want in your partner. What would your dream man consist of? Now, you can change the sexes accordingly, but we're going with it because this is the Queen of Winter, and that's what I'm hearing them say. But if this sounds like your situation and your man, swap the sexes. Easy breezy. But for many of you, the situation, the man that you were with is not what you were desiring, what you were wanting in a companion, and a spouse, and a lifelong partner. You have been daydreaming and thinking about what you want, but this is the time to put pen to paper, do a visualization board, start writing down the things that you want to manifest, what you desire, what would be your dream partner. Because if you can put it to paper, you will help bring that to fruition. You'll actually help bring that person to you quicker because you need to define what it is that you want. Now, the other thing that they're recommending for September, you have your home is protected by angels. And at the bottom it says, Archangel Michael, thank you for watching over my home and its inhabitants. I ask that you post your guardian angels at each window and door, ensuring its security. Thank you for guiding my finances. When I angle these cards so you don't have a glare, I get a glare. Thank you for guiding my finances so that I can easily afford to pay my rent, mortgage, or taxes. So for some of you, you are going through a divorce and you are concerned, how are you going to be able to pay your bills? How are you going to keep a roof over your head? How are you going to be able to provide for yourself? But you don't need to worry about that. They're going to take care of your finances. They're saying for some of you, you also don't need to continue to hold on to someone that you don't want to be with simply to make your bills, to take care of yourself. It's not necessary. Okay, let's pull a couple quick clarifiers. We will wrap this up before my phone dies. Okay, we will start with the world. We have the letter. This is written communications. This could be love letters. Could be business letters. Could be divorce papers. Court papers. Then we have the Consolante Sorpresa. And this is something that was less successful than you anticipated. It's something that did not go as you planned. And then we have the Ladro, and this is the thief. If I can hold them. Robbery, thief, having things stolen from you. Fraud, it's also fraud. So you're coming to this completion with this person. So for some of you, okay, so they're saying for some of you, you'd receive some communications. You tried to have a fresh start. It was not at all successful. And some of you are feeling like you were robbed, like something was stolen. Oh, okay. So for some of you, again, this is completion, it's ending. Some of you, you're going through a divorce. You are splitting up assets. You're splitting up a business. So for some, you are about to receive some communication, some information about the splitting up of the assets. And you may not be receiving all that you anticipated you would receive. And you feel as though that person has robbed you. They have ripped you off. They have stolen what you believe has belonged to you. Now, as far as what led to that, okay, you have amore, love, you have the la alegría. Now, this is celebrations with friends and family. There are two celebration cards. There's one that is happiness of the heart. It talks about celebrating love. This is celebrating friends and family. And then you have the stanza, room, intimacy, privacy, but it's all all beat up. Now again, this is the foundation. So for some of you, this was a partnership that initially did start on love, founded on love initially. But they're saying for many of you, that was many, many years ago. But like family, people started to rely on you. But it all fell apart, and there's no communication. See how there's no one in this room, and it's all jacked up. The frame, the curtains are upturned, the chair's tipped over. So there's been a lot of arguments. And for some of you, it could be that he was a drinker, or one of you was a drinker, or was out partying all the time. But there were a lot of arguments. They're saying it's kind of like a cycle, where you'd come back together, you'd try to make it work, but you would try to make it work for how it would appear and look to others, and then it would all come crashing down again. A cycle, a vicious cycle. And that's why you're cold, you're finished, you're ready to move on. And they're encouraging you to do that. Now last, the 8 of Summer, which is moving forward, we have the Speranza. And this is, you know, this could be hope, it could be apprehension, waiting. You have the Domestico. And this is the servant, the helper, the collaborator, an employee. And you have Disgrazia. And that is misfortune, complete and utter destruction of a situation, complete ending of a situation, burning it down. And again, this is on what you are unaware of. See how she's holding this anchor. So for some, you're hopeful that he will continue and he will return to help you. Because, you know, they were saying that this is not founded on a solid foundation. It's not founded on unconditional love. It's founded on convenience. What can you do for me? You scratch my back, I scratch your back. You give me what I want, I'll give you what you want. And see how her breast is bared? She's got a little nip sticking out. And this is a phallic, and she's got a good grip on it. So for some, she's giving him sexual gratification. She'll entice him, she'll seduce him, she'll pull him in, and she'll take care of his take care of things, take care of business. Take care of what he wants. He's coming in for that. But he comes in and he brings money to take care of her finances, to keep the roof over her head, to take care of expenses. So she's getting what she wants. But this cycle, this whole relationship, this whole foundation is about to go, it's about to completely crumble down. And that's what you are not expecting. So for some of you, you've been in this vicious cycle for a while. But there's some news that's about to come in. So for some of you, it's been this vicious cycle for a long time. You've argued. You're not even talking to each other. You've been in the process of a divorce or separating your assets, going in separate directions. You're about to receive some communications about that. That will end it. Now, the overall energy, of course, Capricorns, you don't have to worry about money. They're going to help you take care of your bills. You don't need to stay in a loveless relationship just to take care of yourself. You're intelligent. You're capable. You're competent. You can take care of yourself. And ask the angels for help, and they will help you do that. Because the overall energy that you have is denari, money. That's funny. You're staying in this relationship for money, for security. You're staying in it because you're watching out for yourself, the Belvedere. This is someone who keeps a lookout for themselves. They're in it for themselves. But you're in it because of security, because you need money. You need to keep a roof over your head. But you don't need to stay in something for that. Because what you ultimately want is a relationship that is requited love. And they're tearing this down so that you can have that. And the last card that was on the bottom is the Lanamika. The woman who acts in secret, lies, deception, the enemy, the female enemy. She has a mask. This is what they're saying was the overall energy of this. So there have been things, secrets, things that have not been shared, things that have not been told, relayed. And this is all coming to an end so that you can find love. So they can find love, so that you can all move on. This is something that is destined fated. This completion is coming in. It is a major arcana, but you're going to be happy that it ended. It is going to free you up to move in a new direction. Get the things that you desire. Begin a new journey that will fulfill you. Because many of you that are in this situation, you have actually felt bad about it for a very long time. You're like, I know that this isn't good for them. I know this isn't good for me, but I'm gonna still keep taking care of me. Because, you know, I've got a sleigh that's lined in gold, and by golly, it better stay shined and polished. But you've been feeling bad about that. But you've also been wanting something more, and you know that it's not here. So they're trying to bring this change in. They are bringing this change in. Allow this completion to happen. It is a blessing in disguise. Start visualizing that dreamboat man that you want so he can come in. You're going to have plenty of money. They are bringing you to a new home. A new home emotionally, with a new lover, a new partner, a new spouse. But they're also, big thing they're saying is they are going to take care of you financially. You don't have anything to worry about with that. So just embrace the changes. I do wish you all an amazing month filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings.